Welcome back to the Remembering Game. On today's Remember, we're going to remember about the game still coming out this year. I'm running off a coffee, an energy drink and some sweets, so let's begin before I pass out.
Did something happen to you?
Resident Evil 2 Remake. Oh no, Silent Hill 2 Remake. Not to be mistaken with the Resident Evil remakes, which were really successful and they're definitely not copying. It really looks more darker, more psychological than the Resident Evil stories, maybe? Anything close to the Resident Evil remakes, we could have something, well, good here. Hatred. Diablo 4 Vessel of the Heart is releasing on October 8th. And really, if you're a Diablo fan, you've probably already hooked now. Is there new Diablo fans being created now? Or is that it? I don't know. At least give it a try. It's on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, give it a try. If not, maybe the most relaxing game ever. Get out of my swamp! DLC is coming to PowerWash Simulator. And with, you might have guessed it, the Shrek DLC is coming and you can clean his swamp. Still, I'm not playing this PowerWash Simulator until they do the Simpsons crossover. I want to wash the Simpsons household and Moe's pub. Pub? Bar? Moe's Tavern. Moe's Bar. What the hell?
Outboxing your opponent.
Undisputed is coming to us on the 11th of October. It's a boxing game that Gypsy King boxes in it. I'm not a boxing fan. If you like boxing, play this game. It looks like a boxing game, and I think it's a remake of or remaster of an already made boxing game, so knock yourself out.
Let the Galactic trials begin.
Autobots transform into Galactic Trails. In a third-person shooter and a driving game, the Transformers games have a lot of surprising hits. Even though looking at the gameplay, it doesn't look that good this time around, it does feel like we need like a big budget Transformer game, and this really isn't it. Probably just for the kids who are currently watching the cartoon, if there is a cartoon. No, there's a film, but this just doesn't look good. Give it a go if you're a Transformer fan, maybe it'll be surprising like the others.
Let me rephrase.
A cute game that looks inspired by the Zelda new generation of games. Europa is a cute mystery game full of puzzles and exploring through this world through gliding, Gliding like Zelda, and it just looks like a cute, relaxing kind of game.
This is a fantasy.
Motor ReFantazio is coming on the 11th of October. It has a good art style, a lot of different character developments from the people behind Persona. Could be a very interesting one, or it could be complete letdown as people would compare it to Persona 5. But it's set in a different environment, kind of a kingdom. You're tasked with saving the kingdom from darkness by using something called archetypes, what is kind of the classes. It's not going to be mind-blowing. We're all just waiting for Persona 6, but this could scratch that itch slightly.
Go ahead and die.
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. It's finally here, the new game in the Bacchanal series. It's finally coming out, Dragon Ball Sparking. Some may ask why Dragon Ball fans are excited about playing the same story over and over again. Well, it's because it's great, and I will never be tired of it. This game has characters from every point in Dragon Ball history, even though it could show a bit more love to the original series, like everyone forgets Dragon Ball existed before Z, but we see a lot of super characters join the battlefield in the old school Bacchanal Tekken Kinnigo. You know, the Bacchanal Tekken, I can't say it. It hasn't had a new game in a while. If you're new to these kind of games, these are arena battle games where you fight between Dragon Ball characters, and it really does feel like the closest thing we ever get to playing in an anime universe. And this has, I think, alternative stories to the anime, what excites me a lot. One of them in the trailers was just something like, what if Goku survived the Tri-Beam Cannon? Is it Tri-Beam Cannon? Piccolo's Super Beam thing. Super Beam Cannon. I can't remember the move. He dies and his brother dies, but yeah, his brother doesn't matter. But he survives it, and that's kind of the story element. It looks really exciting. I'm excited for this one.
Hi again, guys.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtle in a half shell. Muse Unleashed. Releasing on 18th of October. Turtle power has actually meant something in the last couple of years because this generation of Turtles is going hard. We had some films, a TV show, and now a game that looks pretty good looking at the kind of typical hack and slash, but it's not side-scroller or anything. It would have been cool to have a kind of beat-em-up side-scroller type thing based on the game, but I get it, they're trying to go to a different audience, a younger audience, and they don't probably like this old school beat-em-ups. but a 3D hack and slash game that's heavily following the movies, I think it could be a surprising hit. All hail Cthulhu. I have a weird passion for city builders and little weird obsession with Cthulhu lore, and this game looks to bring both together through a weird gothic themed city builder. And if you like Cthulhu or the whatever, I can't remember what's the name, Lovecraft, if you like all Lovecraft, this game could be for you. And if you like city builders, try it out, or the Cult of Cthulhu's gonna get you. They're gonna get you.
This rat cult spreads through Gotham like a plague.
Oh, I hate what they've done to the Arkham series. I hate this Batman Arkham series Shadow. It's coming to MetaQuest on the 22nd of October. Pour it out for the Arkham series, even though they're probably going back to it because they failed a lot. Anyway, this game is coming to MetaQuest on the 22nd of October. The amount this franchise has fallen has hurt my gaming soul. Rogue. We'll obviously talk about Streets of Rogue 2. I remember when the first game came out and it didn't feel like it was that put together. It was a good game, a sandbox roguelike. The only thing was the first game felt a bit small, and this game obviously took that on board and blew it up as it brought out the crazy and that extra bit of rogue that makes me more excited for this game.
You sure we can't just do the seance at your house?
Horror games with me are a massive hit and miss, and I struggle to kind of get into them, but the fear for the spotlight has me interested. It looks like it's inspired by old school horror games like in a PS1 kind of era, and that art style can't scare me, right? But it looks way too scary for me, so knock yourself out.
Evil is back with a vengeance.
We're slightly low on games, so we're going to have a bit of filler. The Smurfs Dream? This could be good. Okay, it's not going to be great, but it's a 2D platformer. Sometimes they come out the woodwork and become great hits and surprising. Hey, it could be the next Rayman. It won't be, but it could be.
Time to awaken the ultimate life.
Sonic's X Generations is coming out on the 25th October. I was originally confused on what this game was, but it turns out to be just kind of DLC to the Sonic Generations game remake, or whatever that was. But we all know Shadow could have his own game series. I'm so behind on my Sonic games, but it does have that kind of feeling of that PS2 Shadow kind of game. It makes you want a Shadow Chateau game in the future, and if we can get Luigi Mansion, we can have a Shadow Chateau, right? Do you like the joke of Shadow Chateau? Pretty good, isn't it? Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is coming out on the 25th of October. You either play it or you don't. It feels like something strange is coming. Life is Strange Double Exposure, releasing on the 29th of October, and it looks to continue the story of Life is Strange with a new mystery, weird parallel powers. These games confuse the hell out of me, but I know they released a remaster recently, so if you want to jump in, it's a really good time.
You have no idea what you have done.
Dragon Age the Veilguard is releasing on the 31st of October. It's a weird feeling for this game, as I remember back in the olden days, not that long ago, when you heard the word Dragon Age, the hype would be overwhelming, but this is very underwhelming. It's a BioWare game doing BioWare things. It's an RPG with all that goodness. It kind of looks like it's taking inspiration from what the Final Fantasy 16 was kind of doing, obviously with lesser budget. So take that information how you see fit, and get the game if you like Dragon Age.
Bullet train is here, Hell Monkey.
Last game of the month, and nothing gets announced while I'm editing, Shadow of the Damned, hella remastered, a game made by a weird and rocky studio, Grasshopper Manufacturing Inc. The return of this game has me excited, as I originally saw this when it released but never got around to playing it. So this is actually amazing for me, as it gives me that second chance. It's a third person rock and roll kind of game that I think is meant to be funny. It looks like it's meant to be funny. I hope it's meant to be funny. I'm going in thinking the complete wrong thing. One state of play later,
A special place, a shifting space.
State of Play happened even though it was slightly lackluster and delayed this video. We did get an announcement of Alan Wake 2 DLC, and after watching the trailer, I'm confused like usual. It looks good. It looks like it's kind of tacked on some more control stuff, what I'm excited for.
Let me tell you what's out there.
Horizon Zero Dawn is getting a random remake. It's only £10 upgrade, but what's the point? A video is on its way about these PlayStation remakes, so to be continued. Oh, it's also the end of October. And the 1st of November has a Punch-Out! With Rise of the Leftovers. For someone who really liked the Punch-Out return on the Wii and wants to return on the Switch, knocking out a bunch of food sounds pretty fun. And then on November 12th we have Assassin's Creed Shadow... No we don't, it's been delayed to next year. Oh no, it's releasing on the same year as a new Ghost of Tsushima game. Good luck! On the 12th of November we have Farming Simulator. Yeah, it's Farming Simulator 25, it's still going. You either like these games or don't. It's like the biggest Marmite kind of game out there. You love it or you hate it. I hate it, it's a farming simulator. And now onto a perfect game, Mario and Luigi Brothership. And looks to bring back these amazing Mario and Luigi games to the current generation and hopefully kickstart a new generation of them. It will be another turn-based RPG to add to that Mario ranks, and it looks really good. And after the excitement of the Paper Mario 1000 Doors and the Mario RPG, this next game adds something new to the RPGs, and that makes me even more excited as them games were amazing remakes.
Keep an eye out, alright?
Metro is getting another VR game. Yeah, it looks like Half-Life. I just want it back on normal consoles because I miss the Metro games. Anyone else? Just me.
On an epic adventure.
Dragon Quest is slowly being remade, and Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D Remake is on the horizon on the 14th of November. And it looks good, like a classic kind of RPG but with a new coat of paint. And that excites me as we get another step closer to that Dragon Quest 8 Remake.
Whoa, look at those chompers!
There was a day when I looked at LEGO games with excitement. What could be possible? The next LEGO game? Simpsons? James Bond? Twilight? No. Dark Souls? That'd be cool. But I would have never guessed we would have got Horizon Adventures in a million years. But actually, after the new trailer, it looks kind of decent. To bring that humour of the LEGO games into a video game IP, it feels weird, but still it's kind of good. I am not lying, I was surprised, but we'll definitely give this one a go. And if you're a LEGO game player, definitely give this a play. Stalkers 2 looks to be the answer to the missed Metro games releasing on the 20th of November. And after looking at this game, I think I'll have to try out the first one because it's really interesting. Through the game you play as a stalker, don't really know what that is, but it's an open world game. What has been destroyed by radiation? Yeah, it's one of them, definitely sounds good, but maybe wait for the reviews of the second one, as I am not sure how this one will play out. Mind Over Madness has a new meaning in Mind Over Magnet. Wait, is that right? Am I saying that right? I don't know. Anyway, the game was developed by the very good YouTuber Game Maker's Toolkit as he took the plunge into making his own games about physics and magnets. Yeah, it looks pretty cute. And some magnets physics for some cool puzzles. There's a lot of information on his channel if you fancy checking it out, as it could pull you in like a magnet. Get it? Magnets? Pull you in? Hopefully it won't push you away. Okay. December.
I really don't know.
Square Enix is about to release another game with overestimated sales and then annoyed when it doesn't hit their target again. With another game, maybe, with FANTASIAN Neo Dimension on the 5th of December. Turn-based gameplay in a 3D kind of game, more like 2D, 3D-ish hybrid type game. Yeah, it's not for me, maybe you. Maybe it's a bit like that Octopath Travelers. That wasn't for me either, but it's going to be a lot less detailed, as it's not that hand-drawn style, it's more that 2D, 3D style, what I'm not a fan of. Do we need this? Do we need this? It's Overwatch, but it's Marvel-fied. The characters look cool, Jeff looks cute, but yeah. Next. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle looks like a Wolfenstein clone and will most likely just be a PG kind of version of it, and sadly I'd rather a Wolfenstein game. It looks okay, but really, who's asking for this? Legacy of Kain has a new generation. It has vampires, ghouls, and it's apparently action-packed. The remaster actually looks pretty good when you compare it to the original as well. I'm pretty sure it's a hack and slash and has a good-looking story full of revenge and other vampires. But onto something a bit more fairy tale. We have Fairy Tail 2. The turn-based series continues surprisingly. After the first one didn't look that good, but this one looks to expand that by adding a lot more detail, and it looks like it has a lot more budget. You know when a VR game gets that highly requested, anticipated sequel and then you kind of just feel let down? Well, it's happened again. Alien Rogue Incursion. Here's the answer to everyone's request for another Alien game in first person, but we get a VR game. It looks to be a lot more shooty though, more like the Resident Evil 7 and 8 rather than that Alien game. I can never remember the last thing of it. The good one. You know the good one. If you say the Alien game and the good one, you probably know what I'm talking about. Oh, we're in the December VR time when people randomly buy people VR games, aren't we, for Christmas? Because we also have Hitman VR. I think this is a new Hitman VR. I'm not sure if it's just a port to the PlayStation VR 2. I don't care about VR. If you do, sorry. PBA. Steller Blade asked the question, what happened if you mix Dark Souls with Bayonetta? And the answer is a lot of assets. And we'll look to have additional assets in the DLC. Another game that has more assets than Steller Blade. The Goat Simulator is getting a remaster. Become the remastered greatest of all time. The Goat Simulator is a weird game, but you're in a goat simulator, but you're in a goat world with weird little physics and a weird comedic effect. It's one of them fun simulator games. You know the type, they're fun, but this one's with a goat. I remember the one with Toast, and this is one of the goat. The G-O-A-T. I nearly spelled that wrong. We are on the year of the platformers, and it feels like the next year is going to be more platformers, but this year we still have Croc, Legend of the Gobbos. Croc, Legend of the Gobbos is one of the many platforms released in the 90s, the Banjo and Kazooie type style, but more of a Croc style. I don't know much about this, we were on 44, maybe that number's wrong, but this is just a collectathon where it's a good little platform and it's kind of that collectathon kind of element genre to it. Kingdom of Hearts Missing Link looks like Kingdom of Hearts with a poisoned apple. It's a mobile game, and I think it was meant to be a while ago, but no rush, it's a mobile game. I don't really want to play it, but I'll have to play it because it will make sense to the story, because they need us to play the mobile games, so they put a load of backstory prequel stuff on the mobile games and then make it more relevant in the later games. I hate how they've done these mobile games. I will play this one, but I will not like it. Anyway, Kingdom of Hearts Missing Link, TBA, meant to still be releasing this year.
Is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov.
Has it been delayed or has it really been good at hiding? Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is the longest name ever. Anyway, it is apparently still on its way this year. I don't think it's been confirmed for this year anymore, but it's meant to be coming out this year, but it feels like it's delayed until next year. I'm gonna have a full video worried about on this game, and it's probably gonna annoy some people, but I am worried about this one. I really am.
Depends on the night.
The Wolf Among Us 2 is still apparently coming out this year as well. Interactive story game has become a pretty stagnant recently with no information on it, and the studio Telltale has not been the luckiest chuck with these type of things, but The Wolf Among Us 2 is still meant to be coming out this year, apparently. Metal Slug Tactics. Is that not released? I have to check that. Well, it's a grid-based game with a cartoon art style. What I think it is made by the same people who made Streets of Rage 4. I don't think I got that right, but I swear to God this was meant to be releasing last year, as I swear it was on last year's upcoming games video. Anyway, it's still meant to be coming out this year. It's a grid-based combat system, and it looks pretty good. There's two types of horror games in this world. One I will be excited for, and the other I will hide from. That's because it is scary, and Terminator Souls 2 is a hider. It looks like a very classic game, kind of like Silent Hill or Resident Evil back in the day, but maybe a kind of more horror-y at least. It has some kind of puzzles to it, it looks very grainy, but looking at the Steam page, it's too scary for me. And to end this video, we end on a high-ish note, as Astro Bot is at some point releasing date this fall, is getting some DLC. They're adding a couple of new challenges and some new robots to collect. And how have they not released a whole line of plushies around this? And that's it for this mumble. What's your most anticipated game still to come this year? Comment below, like and subscribe for future mumbles, and remember we have a Patreon if you want to support there, and I will see you on the next mumble.